A rally by far-right groups and white nationalists has been swamped by a counter-protest outside the White House in Washington. It was held exactly a year after the infamous Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, that saw bitter clashes between the rival groups.
So we're here in Lafayette Park, and as you can see, we are surrounded by a huge anti-racist demonstration. The crowd of thousands is denouncing the 24 or so white supremacists, white nationalists, whatever you want to call them, that have gathered directly in front of the White House. Now, there are thousands of people here representing a very broad group of organizations. We got church groups that are out here, black nationalist groups, Marxists, far leftists, anarchists. We've seen the Antifa. A lot of them assembled. Actually, a lot of Antifa folks assembled wearing gas masks, helmets, almost as if they're ready for some kind of confrontation. Now, we are also hearing the sound of police helicopters that are flying above. However, at the moment, it appears that no scuffles have broken out. We have not heard any reports of injuries. Very wide variety of causes represented here in front of the White House as thousands of people have come out. They're not unified around much, but when it comes to opposing the Ku Klux Klan, opposing the white nationalists, that is one thing that has brought all these people together. Caleb Maupin, RT, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, back then, the deadly unrest in Charlottesville deepened political divisions in the US. His reminder of how events unfolded, a warning he may find some of the upcoming images disturbing too.
Hey, it's a trick!
Terrorism is the use of violence to incite terror and fear. And of course it was terrorism.
This egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides.
And a year after the tragedy, some American politicians are now suggesting that Russia was somehow behind the unrest.
I sat in a closed session briefing probably 2 months ago about Charlottesville with the director of the FBI, amongst others, and asked if Russian intermeddling had to do with fomenting the flames of what happened in Charlottesville. I was told, yes, it did.
Well, he says he got it from an FBI briefing, which was not classified. Now, look, if he has information, if the FBI has information, I'd love to hear it. So would America. But it seems kind of bizarre to me that a congressman who says he's not running for re-election because he's having personal problems, all of a sudden, with a couple of months left in his term, takes the opportunity on CNN, which will do anything to bash Trump and to accuse Russia of anything. He knows something that nobody has ever heard of until this point, that was Russia's fault last year. Well, then where's the information? If it's not classified, tell us everything you found out. So I don't believe it. If there's information, let's see it.
Well, we asked people in Washington for their thoughts on the claim that Russia could be behind the racial divisions in the US.
Do you buy into the idea that it's Russia's fault? That the people having their rally over there is somehow the fault of Russia, Russian bots, hackers, Facebook?
Yeah, not even a little.
And why do you think that's so big in the mainstream media? Why are they pushing that so hard?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it kind of, it's comforting to hear that this is Russia's fault and not something that's been deeply wrong with America since the foundation of this country. It's nice to say it's Russia's fault and it's Trump's fault, and that once Trump is gone and once, the elections are more, secure, then the racism will fade away because the Russian bots or the Russian hackers are no longer influencing people to be racist. But that's not true. It's just just a nice story you can tell yourselves to say this racism and this the white supremacy of the United States is not the fault of the United States, it's the fault of Russia or, you know, whatever else.
The media is kind of using the Russia stuff as a way to go after the left. So they're saying all these left-wing activists are, you know, being, you know, misled by Russia, or Russia is behind it. And, you know, even though there are genuine grievances to be had with, you know, all sorts of things, and Russia plays a minor role, if any, in, you know, on the internet.
Do you buy the idea that all this racism and all this division and all these protests are all caused by Russia?
No, I honestly think it's just, what I want to highlight is the intersectionality of what happened today. Like, there was a small amount of white supremacists here, but there were a lot of people who are coming to counter-protest them. So I don't blame Russia.